Hello everyone, GoldenNova here. Yu-Gi-Oh! Core booster sets are going through a lot of changes recently. Rares are being phased out in favor of other higher rarities. Starlight rares are being bumped up from 4 to 5, including Effect Veiler for some reason. But the one that hits hardest for me is the possible end to TCG exclusives in main sets, starting with Rise of the Duelist. While that's not a confirmed stance, the latest info blurb about the set shows that the 20 slots previously reserved evenly for TCG exclusives and OCG imports are being used, well, exclusively for the latter. Now, this could just be a temporary change in an attempt to bring our card pool more in line with the OCGs, but it feels like getting rid of TCG exclusives has been hinted at for a while now. Starting with Dangers in Cybernetic Horizon, the TCG exclusive archetypes were released over 2 core sets, half of the previous 4 set cycles, with some of them being very mediocre. But I for one think that the latest theme has hit it out of the park, and since this might be the last wave of core set TCG exclusives that we'll see in a while, let's put on our eye patches and get ready to set sail with the Plunder Patroll. Now, point of order. I get that the name is supposed to be a cute portmanteau of the words patrol and troll, but I need to set the record straight here. This is a troll. This is a troll. This is a troll. This is not a troll. This is a cute little goblin going on high seas adventures with their goblin pals. Okay? We all clear here? Good. So what does Plunder Patrol actually do? The best way I can describe it is as a resource-efficient mid-range deck, relying on easily summonable extra deck monsters with disruptive effects to keep your opponent occupied, while your support spells and traps keep your supply lines open while boosting your attack power to close out games. Let's go over the monsters that make up this hearty crew, then examine the spells and traps that make for smooth sailing on the 7 seas. Let's start with the crew members. All main deck Plunder Patrols are level 4 Water Fiend monsters. Redbeard, the Plunder Patrol matey, has 1000 attack and defense. As a quick effect, you can special summon any Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck, so long as that monster has an attribute that matches one that's on your opponent's field or in their graveyard, then equip Redbeard to that monster. Also, if they're sent from the hand or monster zone to the graveyard, you can equip Redbeard to any Plunder Patrol monster you control. While Redbeard isn't going to be generating a lot of advantage, its ability to equip to any Plunder Patrol will help make the most out of your extra deck monsters. Its ability to equip to any Plunder Patrol will help make the most out of your extra deck monster effects, which we'll get into later, and is one of the 2 ways you can mobilize ships during your opponent's turn. What's the other one? That would be Whitebeard, the Plunder Patrol Helm. They're a tuner with 1500 attack and 1000 defense, and it has the exact same effect as Redbeard for summoning your extra deck Plunder Patrols, which is absolutely hilarious if you manage to summon them off of Halka-Fibrax. Also, if Whitebeard is sent from the hand or monster zone to the grave, you can summon 1 Plunder Patrol from your deck, but that does lock you into only summoning Plunder Patrols for the rest of the turn. Previously, your only target would have been Redbeard, so the effect was pretty limiting. But now you have 2 other options, making this an amazing card to use as link material for the aforementioned Crystron, or as discard fodder for cards like Twin Twister. Next is Bluebeard, the Plunder Patrol Shipwright. They have 500 attack and 1000 defense. If you control any other Plunder Patrol, you can special summon them from your hand once per turn. While Red and Whitebeard can summon extra deck monsters all by themselves, you do have to wait for your opponent's turn to do so, not to mention waiting for the right attribute to become available. With Bluebeard, it's much easier to get those cards on the board during your turn so you can proactively use any of your ships. Also, if they're sent from the hand or monster zone to the graveyard, you can discard a card to draw a card. This is technically a neutral exchange at face value, but with Red and Whitebeard both giving you effects when they're discarded, on top of a myriad of other effects that can trigger from discard or just being in the graveyard, it should be easy for you to profit from your plundering. Our last main deck member is Goldenhair, the newest Plunder Patrol. They're another tuner with 0 attack and 2000 defense. You can send 1 other Plunder Patrol monster card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard to special summon them from the hand. The monster card wording here is very important, because this will allow you to use equipped Plunder Patrol monsters as well, because no matter what zone they're in, even if they're treated as equip spells, this specific wording checks for the properties of the card as printed, as well as what it's currently being treated as, which is super cool. Also, if Goldenhair is in the graveyard, you can discard any card to special summon them, but it does lock you into Plunder Patrol special summons for the rest of the turn. Notably, while both effects are once per turn, they're not mutually exclusive, so you can use both in one turn to help turbo out your Plunder Patrol ships, or any other card before you use Golden Hair's second effect. A phenomenal extender with a strong discard outlet, this adorable little goblin has certainly earned their place on the crew. Let's move on to the patrol ships. Bran is a level 8 Fire Synchro Fiend monster with 2500 attack and 1000 defense, with generic material requirements. And while it's on the board, it buffs the attack of all other Fiend monsters you control by 500. Bran can have you discard any Plunder Patrol card, then target a spell or trap your opponent controls. Banish it, then you can add any Plunder Patrol monster from your deck to your hand. This can be used as a quick effect if they're equipped with a Plunder Patrol card. This is absolutely wild. Not only can you banish the card, bypassing a number of floating and protection effects, you get a search, and the card you discard will likely net you another card. It's bonkers. It also shows off why it's so important to summon your ships using either Red or Whitebeard, as they'll unlock the quick effect capabilities of your ships. Next is Patrol Ship Moark, a rank 4 Dark Xyz Fiend monster with 1000 attack and 2500 defense, with generic material requirements. It's kind of like a mini Dingirsu, protecting any number of your Plunder Patrol cards from being destroyed by battle or card effect by detaching a material. Also, you can discard a Plunder Patrol card to target and banish an opponent's monster, then add any Plunder Patrol spell or trap from your deck to your hand. This also becomes a quick effect when equipped with a Plunder Patrol card. Once again, absolutely insane. You'll be seeing the kinds of crazy cards we can search with Moark soon, but suffice it to say, any card that removes problems while also sculpting your hand for future turns is outstanding. And if properly summoned, it can protect you against lightning storms and Salamangreat rages. Our last ship is Lys, a level 8 light fusion fiend monster with 2000 attack and defense, and requires 2 Plunder Patrol monsters as material. This one's a doozy, because all of its effects are quick effects no matter what. Once per turn, during any main phase, you can special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from your hand or face up in your spell and trap card zone. An easy way to reset your Plunder Patrol effects, as well as get more material and damage on board. Also, whenever your opponent activates a monster effect, you can discard a Plunder Patrol card to negate the activation, destroy the card, and if Lys is equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, you can add any Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. So previously, the deck just had removal as part of its engine, and now it has a way to disrupt your opponent's effects, whether you're stopping your opponent's plays or keeping your own safe. And while Bran and Moark can only search monsters or spells and traps respectively, Lys lets you grab any Plunder Patrol card, so your opponent's in for a rough time if they try to out-advantage you, because you'll always come out on top. Now, there is a bridge between the crew and the ships, and that's Blackbeard, the Plunder Patrol captain, a Link 2 Water Fiend monster with 1600 attack, requiring 2 monsters, one of which must be a Plunder Patrol. As a quick effect, you can target any effect monster you control, then special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck with an attribute that matches an opponent's monster's attribute on their field or graveyard. Then equip the monster you targeted to your new Plunder Patrol, then draw a card. This is another card that lets you be proactive with your ships, being able to summon them during either player's turn and not just your opponent's. And now we have extra deck Plunder Patrols that span the attributes of some of the game's most popular hand traps, so you'll make them think twice before interrupting your plays. Though, funnily enough, you can ash the Blackbeard effect because of the draw. This also means you can utilize the Plunder Patrols that don't have the ship summoning quick effect to crew your vessels, or press any non-patrol monster into service, because Blackbeard's effect doesn't really care who you throw behind the steering wheel. Now it's time to take a look at the spells and traps that support the theme. And arguably the most important one is Plunder Patrol Shipyard. This field spell gives every Plunder Patrol you control a 500 attack boost for every Plunder Patrol in your spell and trap zone. This kind of bonus can get out of hand really quickly, as even having 2 equipped Plunder Patrols means a huge 2000 point boost across your entire field. You can also discard any card to add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. Very nifty for triggering your bearded pirates while sculpting your hand. And if the Shipyard is in the grave, you can target any of your Plunder Patrol cards in your spell and trap zone, set the field spell from your grave, then bounce the targeted card to your hand. So it's a searcher, a game ender, and has Orcust Babel levels of recursion? What's not to like? Next is Plunder Patrol Booty, a continuous trap that will help make the summon of your patrol ships much easier. You can declare one attribute, then target a face-up monster your opponent controls, changing it to the declared attribute until the end of the turn. Then, you can take any Plunder Patrol from your graveyard and either shuffle it into your deck or special summon it. The downside is that, if you're ever in an end phase where you don't control a Plunder Patrol monster, you have to send booty to the graveyard. While it does rely on your opponent having monsters, it's otherwise a free special summon of any of your yarded trolls. You can even summon any of your ships if they were properly summoned, but failing that, you can either put them back into the extra deck for use later, or summon out Red or White Beard to immediately grab whatever ship you want. Plunder Patrol Ship Shape Ships Shipping is a fusion spell for the theme, letting you fusion summon for any fiend monster using materials from your hand or field. This will let you properly summon Lease, but not much else. It can fusion any fiend monster, but considering other options are cards like Frightfur and DDD that have material that don't gel very well with Plunder Patrol, I feel like you'd end up bricking a lot more if you tried to combine the themes. Also, you can banish Ship Shape from your grave to target one of your Plunder Patrols, then equip any Plunder Patrol monster or emblem of the Plunder Patrol to that monster. This is a really important addition to the deck. Beforehand, there was kind of a trade-off when it came to your ships. You can either summon them off of Red, White, or Blackbeard, giving them their quick effects, but not being properly summoned, and in the case of Mowork, not having a protection effect, or summon them properly so that they can be revived later on, but with slower effects. Ship Shape lets you have the best of both worlds, immediately crewing up your ship if they were summoned properly, or if they lose their equips. But what is Emblem of the Plunder Patrol? Well, it's an equip spell with some of the cutest art I've ever seen. You can equip it only to a Plunder Patrol monster, and it gives 500 attack, as well as targeting immunity against any of your opponent's effects. While equipped, you can send Emblem to the grave, then summon any Plunder Patrol from your extra deck with an attribute that matches a monster's that's on the field or in either graveyard, not just your opponent's, then equip the monster previously equipped with Emblem to your new monster, with an effect that gives the equipped monster a 500 attack boost. While not a quick effect, this does let you summon your patrol ships without having to worry about your opponent's monster lineup. And it also makes for incredible protection on any of your bosses. Like, imagine putting this on Mowork with Xyz material. Absolutely outstanding. Next is Pride of the Plunder Patrol, and it's probably the most unique utility card the deck has to offer. It's a continuous trap that lets you draw a card once per turn whenever one of your Plunder Patrols destroys an opponent's monster by battle, which is fine, but where it gets crazy is its second effect. By sending it to the grave while you control a Plunder Patrol monster, you can either have your opponent draw a card, then look at their hand, and send one monster in their hand to the graveyard, or look at your opponent's extra deck and send one monster from it to the graveyard. I imagine that if Plunder Patrol becomes really popular, Pride is going to be a point of contention amongst builds. While the draw effect is kind of icing on the cake, the real power here is the ability to gain knowledge about what your opponent's about to play, or what's in their extra deck. And sure, if you choose to look at their hand, they get to draw a card to replace the one that you'll get rid of, but the amazing thing is that they draw before you look, so you'll still have that perfect knowledge, and you get to take away their most important monster. The issue here is that A, this card is most effective as a turn 1 play when your opponent's hand and extra deck are most vulnerable to it, and B, since it's a trap card, even if you go first, you can't know what your opponent has in store when you build your own board. However, since the activation requirements are so easy to resolve, I mean, just having one Plunder Patrol shouldn't be too hard, you will get to see what most needs the attention of your counter and hand traps, as well as the quick effects of any boats in your armada. Lastly, we have Plunder Patrol Party. You can only activate it if you control a Plunder Patrol monster, and when you do, you draw cards equal to the amount of equipped cards you control plus 1, then shuffle cards from your hand into your deck equal to the amount of equipped cards you control. So it's kind of like a Phantasme, but it's not going to be of much use if you can't establish both a patrol on board and any equips, so this can be kind of a whiff. The good thing though is that it's searchable by Mowork, Lease, and Shipyard, so you can run a minimal amount and just search it when you need it, allowing you to dig for your hand traps more easily. Also, if a Plunder Patrol is special summoned from your extra deck, you can equip Party to it from the grave with the added bonus of giving it 500 attack. However, you can only use this effect of Party once per duel. This does help along the same lines as Ship Shape, helping to keep your patrol ships equipped while they can't get a crew otherwise, but just make sure you use it wisely, because you only get one shot at it. That's all the cards for the theme so far, so let's go over some additional cards that can be used to supplement them. A quicker and more sure way to control your opponent's monsters, as well as some fantastic removal, is with kaijus. Run cards like Gameciel, Radeon, Dogoron, and Jizukiru to stomp out big problems and have them lead the way for your bigger ships. Being level 4, Plunder Patrols have access to the most versatile toolbox in the game. You can run the Utopia Double Package for free wins, or Abyss Dweller to lock out your opponent's grave, and give your smaller goblins a bit of a boost as well. Dark Fusion works similarly to Ship Shape, but gives the fusion summoned monster the targeting protection immediately, instead of giving your opponent the opportunity to disrupt you before the emblem can be equipped. You can also search it with a Dusted Gold, so this opens up the opportunity to use Dark Calling as well, using one of your big ships as the level 5 or higher material for Malicious Bane. Not sure how practical this is, but having a board wipe in your extra deck is pretty nifty, and since the deck is all fiends, Evil Mind's a lot easier to resolve, and... I might have to start brewing this. In a fiend deck that discards a lot of cards, it's hard to argue against the inclusion of Stygian Street Patrol. Getting a free monster out of your hand might be the difference between getting your combo stopped by one piece of removal or winning the game. So, yeah, that's about all I've got on my plate for Plunder Patrol. Did you have any seaworthy selections for the deck that I've skipped over? Then you best be charting a curse down to the comments section and adding it to the logs. And make sure ye be hitting the subscribe button so as not to miss out on any more videos, you scallywag. This be Captain Goldenbeard, the Nova of the Northern Seas, and I'll be seeing you on the next voyage.